welcome. Thanks for coming to Shit That Matters. If you guys just want to introduce yourself and give us a little bit about the organization that you're here representing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, you
Me
start.
first.
Yep.
My name's Amanda, and I'm one of the players as well as the president of the CNY Sports Federation. And we are here because we have a football team, a couple of them.
Nice.
So
I love this title. I really do.
What, Shit That Matters?
I love that title.
Oh, yeah.
I really do.
it's great.
My name's Ken. I own the organizations, and I live in the area, and that's kind of what we're here to do, get our name out there and start letting everybody know what we're doing.
Yeah,
Great.
for sure.
So tell me a little bit about the organizations, the
All right.
teams.
We started, about 3 years? 4 years ago?
I've been here since 2020,
Yeah, so we've
but you've been doing this longer.
Yeah, we brought the women's team in at
2020.
2020.
Okay.
I had about 5 years ago, I took over the semi-pro team, the men's team in Utica.
What was the name of it?
It
then?
was the Utica Yard Dogs.
Okay.
And we made some changes and started bringing a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Notoriety.
Notoriety to what we were doing as far as our football team. I had people from 18 years old, which is the minimum age that we ended up getting into college. We had some really good athletes that really didn't have the opportunity to get noticed, that we make film for them, put them on the
cool.
stage that we do, and they're now playing and getting paid for doing this.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, wow,
the
cool.
game that they love.
Yeah.
So I started seeing a lot of women's football, and I had one of the owners of the WFA reach out to me, and I figured, why not? I mean, I love this sport. You know, this has given me pretty much my life. My son played. He played college. He played professional. So it's given me an opportunity. So why not? And then we put our first team together, and literally it was women that wanted to play, but had to have been taught
Yeah.
from the beginning.
Really?
X's
Because
and
there's no way
O's
to
and-
play in high school,
No,
right?
No.
I mean, we had one player that had played for our quarterback in that first season, had
Yep.
played football for a lot of years alongside with the boys. And but she was really the only one with a lot of experience in the sport itself. Everybody else was coming in with this interest or this passion for football as a spectator and getting the opportunity to like learn the ins and outs and play. I mean, we have a lot of people that enjoy athleticism in general, and once you're there,
And this
it's
is
hard not to
full-fledged-
just love
Oh,
it.
it's
Yeah.
This
this
isn't
is
the
what you
fluffy
see.
chef
No,
with
no,
lingerie that
yeah.
they show on TV.
No.
This
This
is
is-
football.
No,
This is
right?
what you see
Yeah.
on TV.
So for the women's team, is it women that had all previously been athletes, but just were never given that
in
chance
some
to play
form of another.
like,
I mean,
football?
Right.
yeah, in some form or another, everybody has had that team build kind of thing in their younger years, in whatever the case
And
may
they
be.
came from
And-
different areas of sports too.
Right.
Like
Okay.
some, you
Right.
know, did some organized sports in school and stuff like that. But once you get out of school, as
For
far as
women, really,
nothing
there's
to do.
there's
not
nothing to do unless you're going to be
Softball.
bowling or
Right.
softball.
right
You know.
softball leagues, and a lot of it is a drinking league or kickball leagues,
yeah.
and then it ends up a drinking league. It's you know, are great. Those leagues
Yeah.
are great, but this was really like tuned for success for athleticism and like getting yourself into a good fitness
And we
shape
didn't
and
like
taking on a
go
lot.
into the waters waiting. We jumped right into
Oh,
the
yeah.
biggest league in the country, and this
Yeah.
is
So
a
there's a league-
national league.
Yeah,
The
I was
WFA
gonna say
yeah.
who
The
do you-
women's
The
Football
WFA,
Alliance.
they're the equivalent to the women's version of the NFL. There's
Yeah.
3 different divisions within it. So there's divisional teams, and these girls are animals. And they're just getting, just
Oh,
this year, they got a
it's-
spot on ESPN
Oh, yeah.
to
Yeah, our national.
it's
What's the
fairly new.
closest? So you're based out of Herkimer?
We're based out
of
of
Utica?
Utica
Yeah.
area, central
Yeah.
New York. We're hoping
we go
for
pretty much from Syracuse
yeah.
all the way to Herkimer. That's like our area.
But we have girls coming from Buffalo
Yeah.
out
It-
to play.
What's the next closest team in New York State?
Schenectady.
Schenectady.
Yeah,
They're
New
the
York-
only other ones.
Yeah, the knockout.
They're the only other ones right now.
And really, that's one of the better things about this league is, you know, they could see us as, oh, now we can whoop ass on this team because, you know, they're trying to go. But these owners and they help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really put in, an education for everybody. If you don't know, they're there to help you. And,
Yeah.
I had tons of questions, like this is all new to me too. I've never dealt with a women's organized sports team. And
Are the
so,
rules the same as what would be normal?
Yeah.
Everything-
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
11 on 11.
11 on 11, it's full tackle, it's,
Yeah.
Full tackle.
you
all the
got
penalties
your-
are the same,
yep.
10 yards is
Yes.
the first yard,
There
throw
are
the ball,
no
pass the ball.
handicaps for the women.
No
no,
shit.
None.
That's
And let me tell you,
fucking
most-
awesome. That's
let-
amazing.
let me tell you this. These women that we had on our first team had no clue.
We didn't
no
know.
clue.
We didn't know.
When we first put those pads on and the helmets on and we started hitting, we lost a few.
Yeah, I
because,
bet.
then the realization
Well, when you
hits like,
first
oh,
announced
shit.
it, that you were building a team, how many people did you come out for tryouts? If you,
Oh, God.
and then how many people are on a team? You got 11, but you probably got
we
30.
probably started with 30. And by the time we went into the season, we had, what, 20?
Hitting the field, we had 20 girls.
Yeah.
For our first game.
But how many tried out?
So are you a player right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so is it, not your full-time job, or is it your
Oh,
full-time?
no.
Oh, okay.
Not my
Okay.
full-time job.
Okay, because I was I'm like, how do you, it's just an extra.
It's an extra.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a super valuable, like, it's taxing. Don't get me
I
wrong.
was gonna say, it has to be time
I got
consuming.
kids, I got
Absolutely.
jobs, I got all
Okay.
sorts of stuff. And
You can't go
all
in-
of us. I mean,
Yeah.
most of us girls all have kids,
Mm-hmm.
are momming it up, and we all have careers that we're going at. And this is like something additional that we're choosing to participate in, but it's a great thing for the area,
There's
for
no
women. And
there's no difference. Football is football.
Yeah.
And you got to come in with that commitment.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're going to get exposed. If you're not putting in the work at home when you got 15 minutes to do some workouts or hitting that gym or anything.
Well, when you say exposed, getting exposed on the basketball court or a soccer,
That's a
getting
lot different.
exposed in football, you're getting drilled.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not
Oh, yeah.
ready, you're getting drilled.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And these and I gotta tell you, a lot of the people that we started, a lot of the girls that we started out with, like when we first went in, and like I said, we started off fresh. This is what a center is. This is what a guard is. This is
Wow.
what a
It's
receiver is.
from
This is
the
what a
ground up.
quarterback. And we ended our first year with 9 All-Americans.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean that
And
goes
this
to
is
them
paid
and their
for.
work.
There's
Yeah.
a girls get paid to play, or is this volunteer
No.
only?
When
This
you
is
get up
volunteer
to
only.
Division One,
Wow.
you're able to start making some kind of money. But that comes with sponsorship
Yeah,
and
you
stuff
gotta
like
get-
that.
yeah.
You get the
Right.
sponsorship, now you're making it a little bit easier on
Yeah.
the girls because now we can cover our equipment. Where
How do you
otherwise,
fund
Right,
now?
right now, our girls are beating feet for
Yeah.
sponsors.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
doing fundraisers.
That's what
we
you
got a
gotta do.
couple.
That's
we
what
have
you
a
gotta
couple
do.
planned fundraisers coming up for the organization as a whole that we're setting up. But the girls are given the responsibility to kind of go out there and survive this in a Division III. So until we get to a place where we get enough players and we get enough, up there in this organization, we're scrapping to do
Self-sufficient,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
scrapping
That's
to do it.
exactly
Because
it.
to travel and go to all these places
Yes.
for games and
That's
stuff.
coming out of your pocket.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
All of it.
trust me.
Wow.
That's
So
why
that's
I
paying
am
to go
working
get hit. All of it.
24
Yeah.
hours a day to make sure that
Right.
we do what we got to do.
Right.
That's dedication right there to.
Yeah, and our
just
travel,
for
I
the
like.
love of
We're
it,
supposed to
I
go to
guess.
Canada this year.
Yeah.
We got to go to New Hampshire.
Well, yeah. So you probably play Schenectady.
No, actually, in our this season's schedule, we don't head up against Schenectady this year, but we are having a scrimmage with them. They're like Ken said that they're a vital team that has a lot of years under their belt. They got experience in this, so we look to them. So we're going to get together in a friendly scrimmage.
cool.
Yeah.
And preseason. But we go, we have May is really our start. May 13th is our first game, and that's against MIFA. So Canada's coming out here. And then we run through June 10th is our last game. That'll be us going to Canada.
Oh, okay.
So where do you play? Where's
Yeah,
your
where's your
stadium?
home?
Well, right, we were playing at the new Proctor Park.
Oh, yeah.
In Utica,
Yeah, the Salongo Field.
and that's kind of where our base is. We want to incorporate the whole area,
Yeah.
so we are looking like maybe this year we might go to Rome. Or, if there's another spot where we could help with that community, that's where we're going to go.
We want to kind of centralize our location. Utica is kind of it is central. I mean, it's central New York,
Yeah.
but
Mm-hmm.
that Rome is such an easier thing for us. So we're kind of looking to work with them and get a field mapped out for us there.
Nothing Syracuse? Does Syracuse draw? Do you get people to come from
Yeah,
Syracuse?
yeah, we do.
we do.
I mean, with both of our teams, we get people pretty much from all over the area. In this area,
Yeah.
like from Syracuse to like Herkimer.
No,
So we have the men's team too.
what sport did you play in high school that gave you like
I played field hockey.
field hockey?
Yeah, I played field hockey in high school, and I mean, it's not supposed to be contact, I guess,
Yeah.
but I mean, it
kind of
it
is.
is. It kind
So
of
where,
is.
where do
Yeah.
you see most of the players? If you got 20 players on the team, where did were they volleyball? Were they
Rugby.
field hockey?
We have
A lot of ruggers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rugby.
Yeah.
We have volleyball. We have
Rugby
like
people are a
athletes that are
different breed.
Oh,
They are.
absolutely.
They are.
Absolutely.
They
There's a
are.
rugby team in Utica as well. Right?
Utica.
Utica, yeah, I think it's the
Yeah.
combination of the
Yeah.
two.
Yeah,
They're
Syracuse.
Yeah.
together. Yeah.
And we had
We had a few girls from there our first year.
and that helped. Knowing the
Well, they know how to hit.
physicality,
They know
the
tackling,
physicality
yeah.
of
They know tackling.
rugby really starts playing into football.
Yeah.
So I mean that.
But
helped
field
with the
hockey
girls.
can too, about movements. I'm thinking like soccer.
Yeah.
I don't know that volleyball or even basketball would
No,
would
there's-
transfer
It's
over
great
as
for
well.
the cardio part of it.
Yeah.
Because you're going for 3 hours,
Yeah.
just like a men's game, and believe me, a lot of the girls that we have play both sides of the ball. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
you're
Yeah.
humping for
Workout.
3
What's
hours.
the average age?
Oh gosh, we have a couple girls that are mid-20s. Our oldest is 41.
Yeah.
42,
41 playing
41, yeah.
tackle football.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And,
So we
and
got a
she's
lot
good.
of us in our late 20s,
She's
30,
very good
early
at what
30s.
she does.
Yeah. Oh, she's an animal.
That might be.
I know. I'm
telling
like, do
you.
I want to do this? But no, I can't do another commitment. That's why I'm like, no.
No, it takes a lot.
Do they charge? So how do you create revenue? To charge at the door? Do you have concessions? How do you create any
For
kind
our
of revenue?
games,
Yes,
yeah,
for the
yeah.
games,
We usually work with a lot of local businesses, any local businesses, food trucks, people. It's word of mouth a lot of times, and we get everybody to kind of come together as we're building
that's
this
part of the
together.
whole
We
community
want one
thing.
hand washes the other.
We had a concession stand in Utica, but you have this whole food truck association.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's bring them in
We
here.
do
Let's
that.
get them working up their business
they're
too.
great.
And then we have vendors on before you walk into our gates that
Yeah.
have their own stuff that they make.
Oh, nice. That's
Amanda's
cool.
sister
Yeah.
is a big thing with making all these different
Yeah.
shirts and cups and all these different designs.
Yeah.
Get her in there, set up a booth.
awesome.
We got other people that come in there with their products. So we really try to get the entire community involved in
Right.
what we're doing.
Right.
So, that kind of helps spread the word and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of gets everybody involved with what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the girls' team. How long? The girls' team's been around 2 years then?
So this will be 3. Yeah.
3.
3
Yeah,
years? What
yeah.
about the guys' team?
The guys team, we're
Because there's
going.
been some guys' teams locally. There was one in the 25 years ago.
Oh, no, there's teams everywhere.
Yeah.
We
There's a
play
lot of
in
them.
the GDFL, which is a national league as well. And that is kind of separate. You have different classifications of football when it comes to amateur football. You have the semi-pro, which is a lot of these smaller towns that get together that have a bunch of teams. Then you have what we're into is pro development, because a lot of our guys take those
Can
next
get
steps.
scouted.
Now you got the USFL and you got the XFL going. So a lot of our people that play in our league make that jump to there
Wow.
too.
Yeah.
We're one of the only leagues that has a true national championship. Syracuse.
Yeah.
We had some issues last year, so Syracuse and us, we combined our teams, ran it to a national championship.
Yep.
And that's a
They went to
national
Vegas, won
championship.
it.
Oh, shit.
So, the game was in Vegas. It a big
shit.
showing in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
And
was
it
live
was Syracuse
streamed. We
and
all
Englewood,
watched.
California. That was your championship game. So it's this league for the men is growing as well.
Yeah.
They want to be like the premier league before you start hitting arena, XFL,
yeah.
NFL, because those are the
Same
only
kind of
steps above
age
us.
group of people?
Oh
or-
yeah, yep.
Yep.
Do
yep.
you
A
think
little
that
bit younger of guys.
they use it to like?
Oh, yeah.
Or is that what it's
Listen,
designed for?
I've
or
been
do
through.
You have a balance
I've been through the college recruitment thing with my son.
Yeah.
And it's very rare that you come out of college and able to go to a combine and to get your name out
Yeah,
there.
that's
going
the
to the
elite
NFL.
1%.
You're talking
Yeah.
1%.
Yeah.
Out of all these, I can't even tell you the actual number of NCAA athletes that are coming out there that are eligible to go into the NFL. And we're talking, what is it, 1.6%?
Yeah, yeah.
Actually go into that. There's only so many roster spots.
Right.
So you have to keep doing your craft, keep honing your craft, and then hope that you get noticed. And we've had a few guys that have gotten noticed and have gone off to play.
Yep.
Oh,
You know,
that's cool.
and for me, there's a lot of kids that don't go on to college. And they don't go on because of whether it's financial issues, whether it's family issues and stuff like that. Well, we're going to give you a way in. You know, I could
keep
take
playing
these
the game, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I talk to these college, athletic directors and stuff. We send these pieces of film out to people. Hey, we can get you in here. At least we can get you getting a degree. And so that help you better yourself.
A couple of the guys have gone off and utilized that in a way of like sports medicine and physical therapy and
Yeah.
things like that as
Yeah.
well. You know, they stay active within the sport and they keep themselves tuned in, and then they work as personal trainers. And we've got one
That's
that's
cool.
gone off. We worked with him last year and the year
Yeah.
before, and
Yeah, Caleb Wright.
Caleb
I mean,
Wright,
his name
he's-
is all over the place. He made a big name for himself when he moved up to, I think it was the Kansas team, and made all kinds of noise there. He has a great business that he runs here, and he was also a college teammate of my son's.
Oh,
So
geez.
I've known Caleb since way back when we started college years and stuff. So, he's always been close, and then he always takes that next step.
Yeah.
So, that's
So
one
I
thing
think
that he's
maybe
done.
from what you're telling me, I could be wrong. So if I'm thinking in high school sports, my kid played basketball. Basketball was our sport. And you play through and you think, oh my gosh, best kids are going to play. It's going to be a positive experience, whatever. And I don't know if it's because they're pressured or whatever, but coaches are about what they got to do to win. It's wicked political in high
Oh,
school.
yeah.
So political that, I know coaches that they play 6 kids and they know in 7th grade what kid they're going to play when he's a senior. And kids
Yeah.
develop at different ages and they're about the wins, maybe not about development.
See, and that's
And then
where
that kid's got to
Not.
go to college. Maybe this is the opportunity for them to go and develop.
Exactly.
Your league is
Absolutely.
different.
because
not
you got to
about the
remember, these coaches in school, they're trying to keep a job.
Yeah,
They're trying to
exactly,
keep a paycheck
exactly.
coming in.
Right.
And the only way that's going to happen is if they could show results for what they're doing. And a lot of times, kids get passed over for that.
Yeah.
They don't go through the actual development that you're supposed to go to get these kids ready to take that next step. Nobody's going to say everybody's a pro athlete. But if you do things the right way, you're going to have more than just the occasional one. If
And
you
kids
develop
develop.
these kids,
some students
exactly.
are boxed in. Younger kids are boxed in by their stature, by their size, by their not necessarily by their abilities either. Once you get to an adulthood, you can mold yourself into whatever it is, and that's really the ideal. We have guys. I mean, we talk about the progressive positivity of these guys moving forward, and even for the guys that don't want that, even for the guys that don't, or women that don't want to get up there into the pro leagues. This is something that keeps them active. It gives them an opportunity to be away. They're kids. We have kids all the time. Everybody's got kids. They're coming to these practices. It's like a family dynamic.
Seeing a role model in your
Yes,
parent to try what
absolutely.
hard work
I mean,
they
Exactly,
do.
it's-
And
exactly.
It's absolutely
Making a
not all
commitment.
about.
get on that field. Maybe
Yeah.
somebody younger would look at you for
And
role model.
there's
And that does happen. It really
It
does.
is,
I mean,
especially
I play,
in today's age when they don't
Right.
see
Just
a
being
role
a
model.
dick.
I,
But yes,
I
yeah.
play. I coached here in Syracuse, Pop Warner,
Yeah.
and I've watched my kids go off to college. I've watched them, go past that and everything else, and I stay in touch with all of my kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I and it's probably my fault, but I invest way too much
Yeah, yeah.
in what I do. But when you see these things happening, it's so worth it.
It's so
It
gratifying.
really
I
is.
coached my
It really
son in
is.
AAU, and we just got a bunch of kids that were his friends together, and we went and played tournaments. We didn't win. We lost 5 times as many games as we
Yeah.
won, but we won some tournaments, and and the kids knew how to work. They had to go out, and we had to raise money ourselves, and get their local business or their father's business to sponsor us for tournaments, and because we were self-sufficient. And my son's 29 now. I don't know if anybody. He might be the only one that played college basketball on the team, pretty sure. But all those kids are good kids now. And when I see them, if I was walking through the mall and before 6 o'clock and I saw one of those kids and they came up toward me, they reach out. Coach,
Absolutely.
Mr. Laura, Mr.
Yeah.
Laura, Coach,
Absolutely.
Coach. And they look at you in the eye, they stick their hand out, they shake
Yeah.
your hand, and they want to tell you how good they're
Yep.
doing. That's so rewarding.
It really
man,
is.
To
It
see
really
that
is.
these kids came out
Yeah.
so well.
Yeah.
So I just
Yeah,
ran
it's-
into one. I ran into one of Zach's friends' father at a basketball game the other day, and I saw Tom, and I'm like, "Hey, please tell Scott tell him, I'm taking your picture right now and sending it to him.
Yeah.
And Scott's like, oh my gosh, tell Mr. Laura thank you. And that's just so a good feeling.
Yeah, it really is.
And it's
It
not about
really
the
is.
dollars.
No, no.
Because it clearly, I saw a great post today on TikTok. I sent it to my son.
You're on TikTok?
Yes, of course. Well, I'm not that old. I'm going to be 60.
I can't believe you're on TikTok. Do you make videos or you just creep?
I
You're a
just creep. I'm
creeper.
creeping.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
love the thing. I'm on it all the time.
No, me too, me too.
But one of the
anyway, so
things
what
was
did
it
say?
showed a father, and the quote on there was, coached my daughter's AAU team since 4th grade. She's in 8th grade now and decided she doesn't want to play basketball anymore. So I'm sending her the bill for $63,000 and 4 years of my weekends that I lost,
Right,
which is
yeah.
true.
Oh yeah,
when you
listen, this is the full time.
Yeah.
There's no, you can't be like, all right, I'm taking today off.
No,
you know,
no.
because I tell all my people that I work with, my phone's always on.
Yeah.
And it has to be, because you never know, it could be a little problem with one or a major problem with another. But you got to be available,
Yeah.
because, you know, you can't preach all this stuff and not back it up.
And those kids,
So-
man, I just think when we talk about kids, we're talking about adults.
Mm-hmm.
People have shit going on in life in the last couple of
Absolutely.
years. And if you don't
sure.
have a drive or something to make you feel positive about yourself, personal health is bad. So if they're going and if it takes a woman who's got 2 kids at home and maybe
Yeah.
a job that isn't fulfilling,
Yeah.
and she needs to go rack a couple heads on a Saturday,
Yes.
and that's getting her through the day, I'm serious, and
Yes.
feel positive about
That's-
herself, and you're working out, and you're
There's
you
an
know,
ambition. Like all this work that we're doing is really just to clean clocks in a little
Yes,
bit.
yes,
Like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. That's
One
it.
of the things that
That's
I
it.
emphasize to whether it's the men or the women, listen, I'm giving you a license to assault people
Right,
for 3
right.
hours on
Yeah.
any given
Right.
day. So you take all that aggression that you have and all that
Yeah.
hostility and all that built up frustration that you got and let it out.
Yeah.
And I've seen it happen. Believe me,
key.
it's
You know, after that first game that we had for the women's, and we started off with 20, and then going into our second game, we went in with 16. You know, I mean, we lost to girls.
and it wasn't
just
for
after
injury,
that.
it was for,
little bit of both.
A little bit of both. I mean, I think there was a little bit of injury that occurred that wasn't anticipated. How much contact you were going to get, you know, and they were just fearful of doing it again. But you got these animals that just showed right back up.
Oh,
the
yeah.
net
Nice.
ready,
limping
ready,
out there,
you know, you
taping
got-
them up on the sidelines,
Oh my
everything.
God!
Yeah.
I flipped one of the
I
girls. I
literally-
flipped her toenail back on. It was rough. You know,
our
we
vice
don't
president,
mess around.
our vice president, when we went into our first season, and I was perfectly honest, and I told her, I'm like, I didn't think you would make it past the first quarter.
oh my
This
gosh,
was one
wow.
of the toughest women I've ever seen. She came back with
underestimated
her
us.
wrecked knee, and she was bleeding, and she was like, I'm going right back out there, and she
my
went through that
gosh.
whole game. And it wasn't just playing offense. You're playing offense
Yeah.
and
And
defense, and you
special
went through the
teams.
whole
And
And you
entire
just
game.
learned the sport. so-
Exactly.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
And that's to me, that's the proud moments right there.
Mm-hmm.
Is when you take this person that's never been involved, and believe me, I've been around all sports, and I love all sports, but there is no other sport that I believe prepares you for life in general than football.
Well, I think sports in general
It does.
can help
But
prepare
when
a
you
kid
got to
that, you know,
count on that person next to you to
yep.
battle through that situation that you're going through, and you got to fight and claw when it looks like it's completely hopeless to end up coming out winning, that all plays out on that football field. You could see that at any given time. And that's just stuff that carries on to your normal life.
Yep.
You're not beating life alone. You
No, no,
need
no, no.
people. You need, your teammates there to get you through. And you're going to face battles, and you're going to face all kinds of hardship. Keep
Well, I think that's
fighting.
what, if you ask kids or young adults that played a sport, when they leave the sport, do you miss the sport? I play basketball still 5 days a week. I miss the sport. I like the sport. I like the activity. I like
Yep.
the exercise. But what do I miss? The guys.
Exactly.
The teammates,
Exactly.
the camaraderie. That's what kids need in high school. I grew up in APW, a poor community. I didn't go to like private school like Michelle, but and when you live in a poor community and a lot of people have dysfunctional families, you grew up
Yeah.
in an Altmar, a Hannibal, a Camden, a Williamstown, Pulaski. You have a dysfunctional family. Maybe your mother and father aren't together at the time, and you need some guidance or somebody to look to. A lot of times it's a coach.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's more about the camaraderie and the respect and
Yeah.
whatever you get. And when the high school's gone and you don't have an ability to do that anymore, that's when kids get lost.
These guys have woven themselves together, and for us as there's people on this team that I met in 2020 just tackling with and just practicing with that we're a daily on season,
Yeah.
off season. I mean, we speak to each other daily. You're that support. You need that. Go ahead. It happens so fast. And these men, I was impressed too, because they are so woven together and they look like the widest variety of people. You would not
Well, that's
align
yeah.
them.
big today
You
too,
would,
you
you
know?
would not align them together just if you saw them out on the street, you wouldn't think, and they are just so bonded with each
Well,
other.
I think what I was going to say that I think is interesting is because I grew up playing sports
Mm-hmm.
too. I did basketball and I have a 4-year-old now, and so I think sports are so beneficial
Yeah.
for children. But you work your whole life and you learn how to be a teammate and be on a team and how to be coachable, and then you get to high school, and if you don't go to college, then it kind of does just drop off. Like
Oh,
as an
even-
adult, it
you-
doesn't. I still need to be part of a
Right.
team. I still want to be part of a
Yes.
team, but there's no outlets for that.
Especially
That's-
Or
women.
less.
Women, for sure.
Yeah,
Women
that's
for
one of
sure.
the biggest issues my son has to this day. Is he played at a high level, and he went kind of far in this sport, and he finally hung him up. I think last year.
How old is he now?
He's 31 now,
Yeah.
and he actually, when he was done playing college, he did his thing in Colorado. He came back and he played for me on my
Yeah.
team, and he finally called it quits. He was going to move out to California, get his life going and stuff. And I still talk to him to this day. Every single day we talk, and you can tell that it's
misses
a
it?
part
Oh,
that misses
Kenny's
from
out there
him.
I think every 3 months, Kenny's out there posting on his Facebook, I'm coming back.
Yeah, literally. It's a thing that's
He
hard
does
to
it
get
every
over.
time.
And a lot
Yeah.
of people think, it's not a big deal. You're not playing anymore. But there's a
It's a big
lot of
deal.
other factors that go into
But
it.
even not
that
playing, like
it's
you're
a piece-
passionate about it. You must have played.
Oh no,
You didn't play?
no.
Oh my
I
gosh,
was.
well-
It was a different world when I was his age.
But
It
you're
was all
part
about
of it
work.
still.
Oh,
I
yeah.
I know friends that if they're not playing, then they start reffing
Mm-hmm.
or they start coaching their kids or they're doing something. They got to be part of the game around.
Oh
the
yeah,
game. know?
football has given me a lot in my life, and it's given my son a lot in his life. So I have so much
How to
to this
set up
game.
a goal, how to
Yes,
drive for the goal.
yes, and that's why I do what I do, because there's so much this game
You're not
has
getting
to
paid
offer.
for that,
No,
right?
I lose money every
yeah.
year. I lose money.
Yeah.
Like whatever I got left over at the end of the week goes right into my
Yeah,
teams.
that's
Yep.
pretty.
So
What's the name of the team?
My women are the CNY Hellcats,
That's the same. That's the team.
That's my
CNY
team, yeah.
Hellcats.
the women, and then the men are the CNY Vikings.
Okay.
Which were the men have had a few names over the years.
Yeah.
like I
What was
said.
it before the Vikings?
It was the Nighthawks.
The
The
Nighthawks.
Yeah.
Nighthawks.
The
Before
Utica
that,
Nighthawks.
Utica Nighthawks.
And that's when we switched it from the Yard Dogs to the Nighthawks.
Yeah.
But
Jerome
the
Hall used to
Vikings
have
a
a team
long
here. Do
time.
you know Jerome? They used to be a football team. Oh my God, 25 years ago.
we got a few of them in this area now.
They were professional. They got paid.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
That was 25
See,
years ago.
that's a faded line right
Syracuse
now.
something. I can't remember what they
You
called
got you had the Express.
Express.
You-
It was
yeah.
the Syracuse Express.
Yeah.
He was the coach, owner coach.
Well, now
He
you-
just couldn't stay funded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that's the hard part
Yeah.
about it, because unless you got a strong sponsorship, it takes about for one season, and I'm just gonna estimate, but it's not gonna be far off. It's about $25,000
Yeah.
Yeah.
for one season,
Yeah.
and that's if everything goes right. Like everybody's got their equipment,
That's a grand a
everybody's
person.
got
$1,200
their
a
stuff.
person.
But when you start adding in field costs, then you got insurance, then
Yeah.
you got to pay for your ambulance, you got to pay for your referees, you
Oh,
got to
yeah,
pay for
yeah.
all this extra stuff, and that's where the money adds up.
You know, we had been talking about this recently because we got a couple fundraisers coming, like
Mm-hmm.
I said. So we were doing the discussion about where we want to go with it, with some of the sales things and whatever. But it's pretty much like a Pop Warner setup. You, as a parent, you would be part of a board and you would be pushing the fundraisers, but your kid ends up the player. You know, at the end of the day, they're
Now
taking
you're the
they're taking the
player, yeah.
physicality out of it. They're practicing these practices. We are all that for this
Wow.
organization. You know, we all independently are funding our own playership and still raising the kids at the end of the day. You know, it's so
And going
it's
to
a
work.
lot. And
Yeah.
going to work.
and taking care of your home.
Well, I know what Ken does. What do you do?
I am a supervisor of residential sites for the state of New York, so I work for CNY DDSO.
Okay, and what's that for, what sites, like, what do they do with what?
They're residential sites for adults with developmental disabilities.
yeah.
So I make sure and facilitate their life and their money and their medical appointments and all that.
Like an
I've-
OCO, like Oswego County Opportunities does, my buddy works for them, it's like a group home, but he manages like 7 group homes to
Yes.
make sure everybody's
Yep.
getting their money and they're
Yep.
paid and they're
Yeah,
taken
I
care
have a
of, yeah.
couple of those. I'm also a nurse, so I do home care as well for medically fragile adults and children. So I'm running 2 jobs plus
Wow.
this.
That's a
kids.
job that,
So
How old are your kids?
17, 19, and I have a 9-year-old as well.
You have a 17 and a 19-year-old?
Yeah, my son's about to be 20.
wow,
Yeah.
wow. Takes a different type of person to be able to do that kind of job. It's beyond
Yeah.
the job, to be able to
That's
work
why
with that.
she's
you
the
know.
president,
Yeah.
because she could do her shit
just
and handle
apply.
it well.
It's,
Just
it
apply.
takes a
I
different
appreciate
psyche.
it. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'll take it for the day.
So where do you see what 2-year, almost 3, third season, and how many did you, for you?
This is year 5. for
Year
them.
5.
Yep.
So what do you see for the organization? What do you want for it?
Well, for the
What's-
men,
Yeah.
this is my 5th year. You always come in with a 5-year plan. So this year it's Atlanta winning the championship.
Okay.
For the women, it's the same thing. We're going to be out there competing and getting ready to make that next step to the next division.
Yeah, we're in development. We're building. We're still in
Yeah.
a building structure for what the organization is.
Mm-hmm.
But we're expanding as well. I mean, we do flag leagues. We're hoping to open up a women's flag league
Yep.
for the summertime and do like a 10-week schedule with that because a lot of our girls are really dying for that. Some of the girls that have come and played with us that really can't handle the contact
Yep.
want to still play this sport
Yeah.
because of it and still play with us on our team. They just can't do the physical. So we're gonna summer league. We're gonna have a women's flag league. So that's gonna be super fun. But we're expanding to give opportunity for all men and women. But for women, it's just not really available. And so that's really our
It's a
our heart
shame
in
that
that.
when you graduate from high school, if you don't play a college sport, your sporting days are done. Unless you, like.
And there's
so
no reason
softball,
for it.
There's
There's
no,
really
I mean, I
not.
play basketball. Fulton, they have they tried to get a girls' league together. They couldn't do it.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough women that could still come out and play.
Right.
So they have some co-ed stuff.
Yeah.
But they're at least giving women an opportunity to come, because when high school ends, you're done.
Yeah.
Guys can play basketball, they play flag football leagues, they have, volleyball leagues, they have
Yeah.
stuff. There's nothing for women, nothing.
And
We
that's
came
what
out-
we're trying to do.
Yeah, trying to make that happen and make it more available. A couple of us came out over the summertime and played on a co-ed league here. It's the Syracuse Sports Complex, whatever it is.
Yep.
But we came out here and just word of mouth. We're like, you need a couple females. We want to play.
You run with the Syracuse Sports Association?
I have
Like,
my
Yeah.
own flag league
Oh, cool, okay.
that's based in
yeah.
in Utica.
Yeah.
We play at the Westmoreland.
Oh, nice.
the new
Elevate
complex.
CNY
Yeah.
is the new. It used to be Rising Stars Soccer Club. It's newly owned by ICANN. So it's Elevate CNY now on Route 233. But we do all our practices there. We have our flag league there. They've been
It's like a
great
little
to us.
partnership we got
Yeah,
going
that's
with
cool.
them. So
Well,
They've
that's
been
what,
great to us.
now funding-wise, I mean, are you
No,
looking?
we pay,
But how are you, I mean, that's got to be a piece that you're trying to develop, because
Yeah.
you need, for anything you do, you need money.
Right.
Are local restaurants helping? How are you getting the word out?
right now, it's hard to get the right people in the positions that you need them to.
Yeah.
So basically, between me, Amanda, and Mara, we're trying to do all of this
Yeah, and
while working and getting ready for the season and everything else. So it's very hard for it. That's why we take opportunities like this
Yeah,
and jump
yeah,
on them.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
we can get out there and be like, listen, we need some help here.
Yeah.
So and then we finally found somebody that is great at marketing.
Yep.
So we're putting her right to work.
Nice.
But just like
and-
in a Pop Warner setting, you would have an entire board of parents.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
You would have a whole board, and one would be assigned this, and it's just me and Ken right now.
What about,
So
what's Tommy Monroe do?
He's my coach
Yep.
for the
Oh,
men's
okay,
team.
cool, okay.
I
I
mean,
connected
yeah.
with him on Facebook as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
because,
he's my head coach for the men's team, and Joshua Downers are my head coach for the women's team. But
and they're
the voices
great.
come from
There's
on
no
high
but.
all the
They're-
time,
Yeah.
and that's who takes care of everything.
And they're not getting paid either.
No.
No, it's
No.
all volunteer.
There's not one person
No,
in
and
our
they're-
organization that gets paid.
Yeah,
This
they're-
is all volunteer and
Yeah.
work that you're able to do.
And obviously, I mean, the ambition would be to alleviate that stressor
Yeah,
from the
exactly.
top, the 5 of us
Yeah.
that are funding it, you know, to
Well,
alleviate
if you
that by
have
sponsorship, but
raffles you're doing or
Yeah.
benefits you're doing or something you're doing online, let us know. We'll share.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Try to,
absolutely.
you know,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
yeah.
Well, this is the part of the process. You
Yeah.
know, when you build something, you got to go brick by brick, and you
Yeah.
want to make sure that's a solid brick. It's surrounded with good cement, and then we can start building on top of that. And that's what we do.
That's why the 5-year plan, like, we got hiccups from COVID, you
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
know, like,
Yeah.
Oh,
so we're
absolutely.
really.
That was a major
Man,
thing.
We pulled it off that 2020, and we're just we're making ground up now from that step back, you know.
You had
That
to be
was
shut
really
down, right? You
difficult.
Oh,
couldn't
absolutely.
do anything.
Yeah.
And
that
then
was
even
really
the
difficult.
comeback. You know, you got people that are just scared to death
Yeah,
of
still.
exposing themselves and, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, even our first year back, we've had to do all these different things and make arrangements and have certain setups and, you know, for teams and how they're coming into your place and what you got to
We
have
managed,
for them.
though.
But we did what
And
we
then
had
the
to
other
do.
thing,
managed,
if
like,
you
it
shut
wasn't-
down for a year or 2 years, if I can ask, how
Mm-hmm.
old are you?
I'm 36.
36. So how many more years can you play?
I
Right? If you
mean-
lose a year, now you're 37. If you lost a year and a half, then you're 38.
Yeah.
Is that 38?
Thank
a
you
little
for
She ain't
reminding
going
me.
nowhere.
Thank you
She's
for-
gonna
thank you
keep
for
going
reminding me.
until.
I appreciate
No, but I
that.
mean, this is a contact sport.
This
It's
is some bullshit.
yeah. Good. I'm glad to hear that. But you do have an expiration date on how
Yes.
long you can play.
Yeah. I mean, the transition is still going to be to support the team and make sure that this functions in a way. At some point, I will be one of these Pop Warner parents where I'm hopefully at some point in a coaching position to be able to get these girls primed to do what they need to do and help out with that. So right now, I'm just doing both.
Do you feel like it's harder to market the women's team because of the preconceived notions that women don't play football?
Yes.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. We get that all the time. It's always the same panel of questions. Do you play football? Yes, I play
It
football.
was just like he
real
started off.
football.
Oh, is this that
like
lingerie thing?
lingerie
Because that's what
football.
that's the
I
first thought.
apologize. I don't mean to be
No, but
disrespectful.
that's
No,
the first
no.
thought that
Yeah.
comes into
It's always the
everybody's
same.
mind.
Or the
this
powder
is a-
puff
I mean,
Yeah,
I answer that
exactly.
question differently depending on it. Ultimately, that's the goal. I want to be in lingerie football. That's the goal. That's the ultimate goal. Right now, I'll get
Yeah.
banged up a little bit,
Yeah.
you know, but ultimately, that's where I want to be.
But that's my purpose too. Is I don't want to cycle through all these different outsiders. I want when my players are done playing, now it's your turn to coach.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
It's your
Right.
turn to walk the
That's
sidelines
Pop
and
Warner's
bring
a
in
good
that
example
next
of that.
generation.
Yeah.
So
you
when
know?
these Pop Warner parents cycle out, there's another parent
Set of parents coming
coming in. So
Yes.
you're not replacing them with parents, you're replacing them with players.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And who better to know and understand
Yeah.
and how to translate this information we got to get to you than a player?
I mean-
because they've gone through it.
For this women's team locally, we would love to be able to, and I don't know if I don't know how Ken feels about it, but I think that I would love to have a female coaching staff ultimately
Absolutely.
Yeah.
with a female team to really
Absolutely.
drive that in there, to
Yeah.
show women in all sides of this game where it can be predominantly women and do it successfully, you know.
I think it's important for young women to also see women coaches.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
For
Yeah.
to see that leadership in the
For sure.
coach.
Yeah.
So
And let me tell you, there's a lot of extra things that come with a women's team compared to a men's team.
Oh, he learned.
There's a lot
It's been
of
a
extra.
few years.
Example.
It's
Listen,
different coaching the women than it is
there's
coaching
no
the men.
way. I mean, my actions show.
Yeah.
I try to support and elevate women in any way, but there's a whole other set of feelings and emotions and
Yeah.
everything else that comes to
Yeah.
play when
Yeah.
you're dealing with.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe the conversations I have with some of these players, and I'm just like, wow, I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah, that was.
But with women, it's kind of a thing.
That's a
Where I
reality
never
check
had
for
that thing
Ken
with the
here.
men. You know, it's always do your goddamn job, shut up, and if I need anything else,
No.
I'll ask
Yeah.
you.
It doesn't work like that.
You don't
with
do
us.
that with women because
Ken-
now you got to explain everything, why you're doing this, why you're doing
You
that,
gotta
and I
come
don't
at it.
mind. But if you don't know that, that's
Right.
kind of a shock.
You got to come at it different.
Yeah.
Ken will stand up there and he'll yell at us at practice sometimes. And in the 10 minutes that he's got his big voice on for a little bit, and we're all standing there like, okay, can we do some drills?
Yeah.
This doesn't
Yeah.
work for us. You
Yeah.
know, just this
Completely
doesn't.
different.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it just
Completely
doesn't work
different.
for us.
I
Like
know.
the
I don't
men
wanna be,
hear
like,
it different.
Really sexist.
Go for it.
See, that's that line I'm walking
I'm ready.
right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead,
I'm
somebody
ready.
else
If you
get on
got to
this
give a
wire with
disclaimer,
me.
it's about
Yeah.
to
I
be.
think it's gonna be
Yeah.
really sexist.
Go
but-
for it.
But I
Jesus
know that
Christ,
in-
I
in-
already
in-
know, I
in-
think where
no,
this
I
is
just think
going.
like my wife and I owned a couple of bars back in the '90s. when you could say different stuff. You may not be able to say as much now. But I do know, and again, I'm not trying to stereotype, but if we had two bartenders on, there can be, women are a little pettier than men can be about looks and about appearance and about who made more money. And, oh, she's prettier than me and she made more money than me. That sucks. Now I have to hate her. That maybe doesn't happen. Is it more competitive when you have a tryout and somebody wants to get minutes and you're getting the minutes over them than it is with a guy? Is it the same? Or is
See,
it different?
I don't feel that.
That's where there's no,
I don't feel that.
there's
Because
no
it's
difference.
the sport
We-
versus the.
There's
I
no
feel like as
difference in
the
that area.
women, like
I'm gonna catch
you,
shit
you don't
for
feel like
saying
there's
that.
no
Well,
difference.
No.
I think
I feel like the
I'm gonna
women,
call-
it's more of a
yeah, I'm gonna call
camaraderie.
you in
Like,
one
to be
second.
More of a
honest,
team
we
than-
are supporting each
That I
other
will agree with.
1000%. So if you're out there struggling, I'm struggling with you. And that's, I feel like that's a difference between the men's and the women's. Watching the men's practice and seeing how they are specifically competitive to each other, but still would knock somebody out for each other, you
Right.
know? But they're competitive with each other about skill set, for sure. Us, I don't feel that.
I'll
I
agree with
don't
that
feel that.
100%.
I feel like
I mean,
we,
I know what
we
you're
are
trying to
struggling
say,
together.
Right.
but there is a difference.
We had
But
girls that would,
this
I'm
is
not
more-
working with her because she's prettier than me.
No.
That's crazy
God.
to me. I've never dealt with that though.
Really? It's
But
not-
it's because I lead with the fact that we have each other's backs.
Right,
That you
yep.
girls are there together to run the bar together, not
And you've never
and you're
had it-
both beautiful and you're both great and you're both blah blah blah. But if you got some asshole boss being like, who's
Listen.
prettier, put the prettiest
wife?
girl.
You're saying that about my wife? That's how she, but it was.
We
I
see
think-
each other
I think-
ugly, you know. We
Yeah,
see
I
that's
each
another
other.
good point, too.
We
You're
see
not-
each other brutalized ugly, and I think that takes away that. Like everybody
Yeah.
has that moment to get dressed up. We see that out of each other a lot less
There's
than we
less
see each
ego
other torn
with
up.
Less
women.
ego. That's
For sure.
probably what
Than
I'm
with
looking
men.
for. Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure.
That's 100% true.
sure.
That there's a whole different, in men,
Maybe
like
they're
you
looking
said,
for something different. Maybe the women are looking for the camaraderie of a team and a partnership and friendship and you know
and I think the fact that
connection
this is
than
a
the men
new,
are.
I feel like that's a
new thing for
historically
them.
female thing, you know,
Yeah.
to
Yes,
kind of
true, yeah.
historically female to kind of group together and raise a neighborhood. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like men kind of independently solo do their things, and that's
And I do think it's because that men, since my son is 4, since the time he's been 2, you win, run the fastest, do the
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
drilled into
drilled
Yeah.
into
masculinity. Yeah.
men's brains, where for
We
sure-
have very competitive girls. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, I
Yeah.
believe it. I believe it.
And I'm
me too.
clocking myself
Yeah.
next to somebody else when I'm running every single time. But on that, I would never take that on her. You know,
You're
what I
not
mean? It's
tripping her
different.
to win.
Right?
Oh, no,
Yeah.
Right.
no.
But
right.
guys would do that for sure.
I-
Yeah.
Guys
I've
would
seen it.
definitely.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
seen it.
Guys would
That-
definitely.
yeah, it's a whole different level
Well, that
of.
brings up, do you see do you see a drug element to stuff? Do you see people, shooting steroids, doing enhancements?
At this level, you'll
Yeah.
always see that.
Yeah.
You'll
Not
always
for the
see
women.
that.
Don't
Not for
put
the
that
No,
on the
for
women.
the women, I've never.
We aren't out here doing crazy shit. like
Yeah,
that.
no. For the women, there's never been an issue like that. But for
But
the
I would
men,
see it for
I've
the
seen
men.
I've
Maybe it's
absolutely
They're so
because
seen it.
competitive.
there's the
Yeah,
competitiveness.
They're
it really
so
is because
competitive.
you're trying to be that split second quicker,
Yep.
that 5 pounds stronger. You know
Yeah.
that's a thing.
They get really emotionally invested. Surprisingly, like women are an emotional set of people, but it is not like generally it's diffused. The men get so
The game ends.
Oh my,
Yeah.
The game doesn't
mid
end.
game,
Yeah,
it doesn't
exactly.
matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Game doesn't end.
Yeah.
No, it's a whole different level of what's the word I'm looking for? I guess it's the ego part. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
women it's the team. Men, it will always be the team, but there's this individual battles all
Gotta
the time.
win, gotta win,
Yeah.
gotta
Where
win.
the women, it's like we're coming in as one.
Yeah, they got
And
beef
there-
with
there's
each
a
other
big
and other
difference.
players on other teams, and
Yeah.
they got beef picked out
Yeah.
that I didn't like the way you did this, and you.
I hate to see that
Crazy.
coming. I watch a lot of high school basketball.
Crazy.
And it's simple things that you like to see. Kid falls down or gets knocked down, whatever. To see a kid from the other team go down and help him, put his hand out, and that kid, to allow him
Yeah.
the hand to pick up, that tells you that the two guys coaching are doing a good job.
Right.
When you see the kid not reach down and walk
Right.
over him, or you see the kid reach down and the other kid slap his hand away,
Yeah.
I look to the coaches and they're doing a shitty job.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
doing a shitty
Yeah,
job.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
And there's some really, basketball wise, there's some really class guys that are full of class out here that
Mm-hmm.
are doing the right things and trying to do it. And then there's younger guys coming in that maybe aren't doing it as well.
Yeah.
And it sucks to see that.
Oh yeah.
I love the game.
Mm-hmm.
I love the game. I got a game tonight at 9:00.
Yeah.
Men's league. We only got 5 guys. We're gonna get beat.
At
You
9
know,
o'clock.
9:00 at
You gonna be
night.
awake?
Kim would be in bed when I get home, but
Yeah, listen,
Well, he's
we
gotta go to
have
the mall
practices
before
that go
6,
until 10 o'clock at night.
basketball at 9, right? You said mall before 6.
yeah. I don't go to the mall anymore. That's kind of a little challenging over there in Syracuse. Is Sagertown like that? Are they getting the kind of violence that maybe Destiny's getting? That's the
I
big
don't
mall in
think
Utica, right?
So, yeah, Sangertown's in New
haven't heard
Hartford. We don't get
That's the biggest
hooligans
mall
like
out
that.
there, right?
Yeah.
One that I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
No,
only one
we
that I
don't.
know.
I mean, we don't get like hooligans out there like that,
no.
traipsing the malls. They got other things to do.
Good.
They hang out other places, but
Yeah, here in Destiny.
yeah, they come out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how can we help? What can we do? Put the word out. Hopefully that's what we're doing is putting
Yeah.
Oh,
the word out.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why
This
I
is-
was
just
very
being
excited
here is a
about
great-
this. I was like,
great help.
absolutely.
How do we,
Very
let me know when
thankful.
some games are. I'll bring my
Oh, yeah.
son-in-law, I'll come watch games.
Yeah.
Well, I'll
for
start sending you when we do the fundraisers. I'll
Yes, please
tag
do.
you guys in
Yeah,
it, and when we
absolutely.
start doing when our schedule is out and we get everything finalized, we'll send that out, and
Yeah.
and that's it. That's what we try to keep our social media
Yeah, the Facebook
pages
page is our
as
primary
up-to-date as
communication.
possible. We Amanda's answering stuff all the time. I'm able to get to them sometimes when she's not able to. So we're very
Social
engaged
media is
on the
big. I
social
think
media.
it came even bigger the last couple of years.
Oh, it has.
Yeah.
Believe me,
People
we,
are secluded at
we have a
home,
partnership with Planet Fitness because of our social
Yeah.
media
Oh, nice.
presence.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, like
The
they
girls all
they
have a membership.
Yeah,
we all
they
got
have-
a
Oh,
black-
that's cool.
we all
they're the
have a black
official
card.
gym
We
of
partnered
our
with
entire
them.
organization.
Yeah.
Oh, no
So
shit.
they-
awesome.
That's
Yeah.
really
Cool.
And we do a lot of things with it. Like they're at our games. That's the kind of sponsorship we want because
Yeah.
that's huge.
Yeah.
That
That's-
is huge.
That's a growth note for the women's team too. The first year we were sponsored by the Fitness Mill, which is our local gym
Yeah.
down near us, and they're fantastic. But we transitioned in last year to partner with Planet Fitness because we have players from all over the state that have
And
to be
they
able to get to
are
the gym.
Also accessible
and
all over the
Planet
place.
Fitness
so.
is super
So
accessible.
what's the farthest somebody's driving?
Buffalo?
player-wise?
Buffalo.
Somebody in Buffalo is driving
3
to,
girls, yeah.
Yep.
to Utica
4 girls.
to
Yeah.
play.
Yep.
Buffalo, yeah.
How
Yeah.
many times do you practice a week?
Our standard open practice is Saturday nights from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So that's the one that we have dedicated for all the players to be there because of our distance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Throughout the week, we do remote trainings and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Gym
okay.
workouts.
So, right.
team
So we'll do
workouts.
gym workouts and chalk talks and all of these things
When are
for
the
training.
games?
Our games, I think they're on Saturdays.
Yeah.
I wrote
All
down
our-
the dates,
all our
but not the
games are on
day of the week. I
Saturdays.
think they're Saturdays.
Do they conflict? Like if there's a girls' game, is there a guys' game the same time?
Different, close
Different-
seasons,
I
but they like kind of
Usually
run concurrent.
one ends just as the other one.
Yeah.
Oh,
is
the
getting.
season-wise.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And then we have the national championship for the women and stuff like that, and all the owners get and players can get to Canton. That we always have the field
Yeah.
at the game in
Can't
Canton,
wait to go
Ohio,
watch.
at the Hall of Fame Stadium.
Yep.
So
Wow.
everyone's eligible to go. We try to get as many people to go as possible as
Yep.
our organization. That's just one of the things that you want to see what you're playing for.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
working
yeah.
towards. So
Right.
that's a thing.
Yeah,
So.
and that's all gonna be a fun trip. Mm-hmm.
Drive out?
Yeah.
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 Road tripping is
Load
good.
everybody in there and
That's
go.
it. I mean, that's the main thing that we're doing now is getting these girls ready to compete, and then just getting our name out there so we can start.
Yeah, we'll help for sure.
The
That's
more
Yeah,
the
this
more
is awesome.
sponsorship we get,
Yeah.
the easier it is on the actual players because
Right.
that's our main thing. We want to be able to have any woman that wants, or even the guys, you want to play. Come in.
Yeah.
We have equipment. We have helmets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have because that's a big.
Yeah, yeah,
Average helmet is about $150. Shoulder pads a little over 100 because you
Yeah.
need equipment that could withstand the punishment it's going to take. And then you got your jerseys and all that stuff, and it's a lot.
Yeah,
It's
we're
a
looking
lot
at
for
it's like $350, I think.
Yeah.
That we need
person.
per person to
Yeah.
come in out of pocket.
Just
Everything-
to be
and
uniformed
that's-
up.
That's to be uniformed
Yeah.
and just to be on the
just
field.
that. Just that.
It's like
And then,
$350 out
when
of
you
pocket. And then
include
your
all the other
travel
stuff,
and cleats
So
and whatever.
how are, again, not to be super sexist, but I'm gonna be sexist again. I know my wife knows I'm gonna play basketball. I knows I'm gonna go golf league, whatever. She doesn't she goes to the gym and does stuff, but she is supportive of me allowing me to go and do that stuff
Yeah.
because we don't have kids at home. Or even when we did, she would bring Zach to a game or whatever. Do you get the same support from the husbands or the significant others? Or is it a challenge because you're taking time out when maybe if you're the mother of a 6-year-old and a 7-year-old. Now
Yeah.
somebody's got to step in after their day of work and watch these kids and stuff. Do you get the same support that maybe you would get on the men's side? They should be, you're right. I'm just saying, but you.
I mean, I can't speak from experience. I'm a single lady in this bitch, but I mean, a lot of the girls, a lot of the girls are dating or single, and we're out here making independent moves. I mean, the people that have their significant others, we don't see a lot of flack out of that.
Yeah.
We don't see it as a team.
Do you think
Nobody's
you have
really
more
voiced
players that are not in a relationship playing, and maybe that's what their another drive for looking for
something to do.
something to do
Yeah.
and some stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You asked
definitely,
that the
it's
same
definitely,
about the men's team, though?
yeah,
It's the same on both
it's
ways.
the same both sides. They're
Yeah.
all
I
I
single
wouldn't-
dudes
I
out
wouldn't-
there
I wouldn't
doing whatever.
ask it. I wouldn't ask that.
Right?
I'm sorry.
See?
I wouldn't ask that probably.
No.
Yeah.
Because men's football is just natural.
Yeah.
Men
Something like
just do what
women
men do, no
football
matter what
is
the women
unnatural.
say.
So I
Oh,
mean,
God, we're getting
you want
it.
to know the ins and outs, every little detail of stuff like that. Because let's be honest, most times if you get a guy and a girl, all right, the guy's gonna go out work.
This is not gonna
the
end
women
well
is
for
gonna-
you.
No, it's not.
I already feel it
You're
coming.
doing your work, you're taking care of the kids and stuff like that. So everybody's
Beyond
already got a
work,
mindset
beyond the job that you
of
have
how
to do,
it's
because
gonna
you have
be.
to have 2 incomes today.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then, when the women that we have, I know some of them are attached, but I don't know
I mean,
a lot
I'm
of them.
thinking about it, and I'm thinking that majority of us are single ladies.
That's what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
That might
And
be
it's hard
something.
in the dating world, I will say that. When you tell a guy that you play tackle football,
Oh my
you got to be a certain
God.
kind of person.
Interesting.
You got to be a
Yes.
certain kind of person.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah.
a little glint that happens in an athlete's eyes, a male that sees you play a sport that's such
Yeah.
contact, but they don't last very long. They
Mm-hmm.
can't handle it.
Oh, my God.
Most of them.
I can tell you that
Interesting.
when I
Yeah.
reached out, because we're trying to find good content for a podcast, I reached out because I'm like, cool, there's a football team locally here. We get Ken come out, and I asked Tommy, and we'll get them to come out, and he's like, yeah, I'll introduce you to somebody who's part of our organization. And then I found out there was a women's team. I was way more interested in learning more about what drives the women to go out and do it than I was the guys.
It's the
Yeah.
unknown.
I asked the question.
It's the unknown.
Yeah.
It's more curiosity
Yeah.
than sexism.
Yeah.
Listen,
No,
everybody
I know.
wants to
I'm
know
just gonna
the.
call you on your shit, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
Everybody
This is
wants
the-
to know these
yeah.
answers, though. A lot
Right.
of people won't
Yeah.
ask these questions, but
sure.
they want to know.
And
sure.
to
They
be
wanna
honest,
know.
I mean, I'll come to both games, but if I had to choose a Saturday to go, I want to go watch the girls play.
Right.
Because I want to see what it's like to see,
It's the same, and it's surprisingly the same as the men's. You see a lot of very athletic, very
Oh, yeah.
physical
Oh, yeah.
women
Yeah.
Yeah.
that you wouldn't normally see. You just wouldn't normally see it. It's
And
just
once
smaller
you're-
people. A lot of
once you're on that
men
sideline,
are generally bigger.
and the whistle's blown. It's not men or
That's,
women.
you're right, it's the
It's
sport.
football.
It's the sport.
And that's, I mean, us as coaches, that's how we're looking at it.
Yeah.
But you can't help but look at it that way because you don't look at them as women. This is your football team.
Yeah, it's a team, it's a
Right.
football. it's
And
a
you're
player.
playing a football game.
Right.
So, sometimes I catch myself where I better not say this word because we're around the ladies, but
We're worse.
yeah.
We're worse than they
literally
think,
am really no different from when I'm on the sideline with the men than when I'm on the
You're
women.
not pulling a Tom Hanks in a league of your own and going,
Not
there's
at all.
no crying in football.
Oh no, I'm an
yes.
asshole.
Oh,
I
yeah.
let them know because these guys have to understand what you're about to step into. And football is not I'm gonna go do this for a little while and then I'm gonna go out afterwards. You're gonna get your ass kicked
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
3 hours.
Look, I'm going to be sore tonight after basketball, but I'm not going to get. And basketball is a contact sport, but not contact
no,
sport like that.
and I feel it's my job that I have to be honest with these women.
Yeah.
And you might not like some of the shit I say, but
Well,
I'm gonna
you
make
better
sure you
prepare.
They don't know.
understand
Yeah.
Prepare.
because this is gonna happen.
They don't know.
So-
This might be one of the most informative ones I've had because I didn't know a lot about what was
Yeah.
going on.
It's
Yeah.
it's great to see. It really is.
I know, that's what I was just gonna say. It's so exciting to see that this is something that's growing in
We
our
didn't even know what was
area.
going on.
Yeah.
I didn't
Like,
even know what was
yeah.
happening.
Really, really great.
Yeah.
That's the hard part is because you got to get the word out.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of people just turn an ear to it. It's like
Yeah.
it's probably some backyard bullshit going
Right.
on.
But it's local. Why aren't people supporting local
because
teams,
it's something
local
new,
people?
and a lot of people aren't
You'll
ready
go to
to
the
jump
SU
on
game,
the new
they
one.
suck.
I mean-
But it's
watch
SU. You're going to the dome.
Yeah.
You're watching
Right.
a D1 team, and
Yeah.
even though they suck, you're still part of the whatever crowd
Yeah.
that's there.
Syracuse
You know,
as
you
a
know what you're
city-
walking into.
Syracuse as a city automatically gets the support, I think, and the notoriety out of just being named Syracuse.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I got you.
When we speak about Central New York and we're talking about Rome and Utica, and that's our primary base, it's where a lot of our, Westmoreland, who
Yeah, who
knows
knows
that? You know
Westmoreland?
what I
Yeah.
mean? So
It's the exit off the
getting-
thruway. Yeah,
Right,
yeah, that's
right.
it.
So getting like the notoriety out there and getting the word out there that we exist and we're not that far. Once a week right now commitment to come out for 2 hours and we'll teach you everything else.
Yeah.
You ain't even got to
I'll
leave your
check that
home
out
the
for
rest of the
sure.
week, you know, for women to know that it exists, that we have a group of women that just will teach you how to efficiently beat the shit out of somebody,
Yeah.
you know, and it's great.
It is.
It's
It
great.
is.
Well, it's like you
And
said
watching them
earlier.
play
What's
is
the movie
just-
with Adam Sandler? He remade the Burt Reynolds one.
Longest Yard.
Longest
Yeah,
Yard, where
yeah.
he's trying to get players, and he's like, "You get to hit the guards. I get to hit the guards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in." Like,
Listen,
Yeah,
that,
you
believe
get
it,
to hit.
believe
You
it or
get
not.
to hit.
another woman
You get
as
to
hard as
hit
you want. You get
as
to
hard as you want.
pummel another woman as hard as you want.
It's
I'm in.
beautiful.
Believe me,
We
everybody-
had a girl fist fight in one year. Well, I mean, not to the greatest, but she was so into it and so excited for this first year playing. She hauled right off.
Nice.
Broke her hand. It was great.
Listen,
fantastic.
everybody had, gym is where I could get the stress out and everything
Yeah.
else. But once you see hit the football field
Yeah,
and
you're
you
hitting.
get that first
It's
few
so
hits
different.
in and you're delivering hits, there's a whole new
Yeah.
adrenaline
So
that you're
different.
feeling that you've never felt before.
Right.
And I watched it.
Yeah, I
When
gotta
we
go
first
to a
finished
game.
that first last
we gotta
that
go.
Yeah, I'll
that
go to a
first
game.
year, I've seen every one of these girls change.
Yeah.
Like you went from preparing yourself to completely being in love.
Well, I bet you
Yeah.
they're. I bet you they're more. When they're walking around, their chin is up. They're more confident
Yeah.
in themselves
Mm-hmm.
as well. You know?
I mean,
Maybe that's what you need.
knowing about it. Just knowing that you can do it, that you can.
Yes.
Like after
Yeah.
that first game, nobody knew what we were getting into. And then going through all that and walking off being like, holy,
I just did
That was
it.
I
one of the
just
best days
did
of my
that.
life.
The first game.
The first game.
You gotta-
not only going in,
was great.
watching them walk on for the very first time, but then going through the whole game, and then what was one of the best things for me is looking in those eyes at the end of the game.
That's pretty.
That
Yeah.
accomplishment that I am that badass bitch, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm gonna be whooping some ass.
we had no more, I think for the primary, like 8 of us out of the 11 we had that were on the field at one time, we had a minute and a half out each player. Like that's it.
Yeah,
For the whole game.
For the whole game.
and this is game
Holy
one.
cow.
Minute and a
Holy
half.
cow.
Game one.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was wild.
That's cool.
I feel like Pat's gonna listen to this and be like, "You should play."
Yes.
You
yes.
should try.
Maybe
I'm telling you.
There's
he
no-
asked you to marry him. Then he. We've been working on Pat for a minute. Her
Yeah,
boyfriend.
but we've only been together for a year and a half, so it's not like a real thing.
Yeah.
It's not like a real
not-
thing.
It's not a real
It's been a
thing.
year and a half.
No.
He's gonna get real pissed real soon.
No, the proposal is not like something, but he just likes to give shit every single
yes.
podcast.
Well.
But all right, well
We
then
end the
yeah,
podcast
this
with
is
we
good
each ask
one.
a good question. Yeah, this is a good one. So I always ask, did you ever have a nickname when you were a kid that you either liked or didn't like? Did it stick, or do you have a nickname now? Like when you're a kid
I feel
growing
like
up,
when you're on a team, you'll have a
you get a
nickname.
nickname. Did you ever have a nickname that you
No.
didn't like?
Yeah.
What was the nickname you didn't like?
I just didn't like being called Mandy. That was my.
Really?
I hated it. Hated
Why?
it. Hated it.
Was
Can't
there
do
somebody
it.
you knew that
Even
was a
now-
Mandy or?
Nope, just don't like it. I don't
See,
know
this
what
is
it
good
is.
to know. I didn't know
Yeah.
this.
See?
So now when she pisses
Really?
me off,
Secrets.
I know what
So
I'm
is there
calling her.
anybody that still calls you Mandy?
People that know that I don't like it.
Me now.
Ken.
People that know that I don't
Me
like
now.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mandy
I see where
was
that
not
comes from, but
Yeah.
people when you grow up and what high school did you go to?
I went to Ilion Junior
Ilion.
Senior High. Yeah.
So it's a small school.
yeah.
Yeah, I went to APW, out my parents' Williamstown. We had 6 to 12 in the same building. So, you're with the same kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Illion's the same kids. And if you picked your nose and ate it,
You knew
when you
about
were
it.
a freshman,
Everybody
a
did.
sixth grade, you're Mandy the booger
Everybody.
eater when you were a
Yeah,
senior.
right. Yeah,
Because you
no, I didn't
can't
get any of
get
that.
over it.
I
So,
picked all my boogers alone at home.
What about
I
you,
didn't-
Ken? Any nicknames?
To be honest, I can't remember.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure.
swear to
Say that
God,
when they have
I
one that they
swear-
don't want anybody
no,
to know.
if I had one, I would believe me.
Listen,
I
But your
got no
name's
shame.
Maryon, so nobody picked on the
That
last
yeah,
name.
the
Yeah.
last name that was always the big thing, but I mean that really never bothered me.
There's a lot of names that Ken doesn't know we call him.
Yeah, see.
He probably wouldn't like that.
But I think
But I'm
nicknames-
okay with that.
when getting a
so.
nickname and how you handle that nickname growing up
I guess
sometimes can
I mean
be-
the last
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
That was the big
we
thing,
had a
because
couple
that's the
nicknames.
easiest thing.
Yeah.
We had a couple girls' nicknames that were pretty funny. We had Casserole,
Mm-hmm.
Noodles.
Noodles, yeah.
Why-
Yep.
We had a few weird ones, and
These are
who
just
knows?
different players that
Who
we had.
knows
Yeah.
why or how they got them coined?
Yep.
But we had some funny ones.
The
but-
noodles one, I still can't figure out. I still don't
We
know
had,
the meaning
who we
behind
just
that.
have in, Debbie from Biscotti's.
Oh, yeah.
And they used to call her Dibbles. I don't know
Dibbles.
how,
Oh.
why, but Dibbles
Mm.
was her nickname.
Yeah.
And then Michelle always asks the last question.
So for people who are just learning about your organization, just meeting you guys for the first time, there was one thing that you would want them to take away about you or your organization, what would you want it to be?
Wow.
I think the
Go ahead,
big.
you start.
I
gotta think about this.
I think the biggest part that I would want people to understand about this is that we are going towards very great things for women in sports. Like that, this is something that we very much feel passionately and strongly about as an opportunity. And if there's anything that we can say is that we're passionate about making sure that this is an option for people, that this is something, if we don't ever get to grand success, it doesn't matter. While we're doing this, it is absolutely some of the best times that people have to, like, enrichment in their own lives.
It's not a short-term thing. This is,
This
you're
is,
looking
the
for
plan is long, yeah. The plan is a long
That's
one.
awesome.
But if it, I mean, you never know.
I
COVID
think
was
that-
crazy.
That would be mine, is opportunity.
Yeah,
It's all about opportunities.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't get them.
Yeah.
And if we can give somebody that opportunity, I'm good
Maybe
with
there's
that.
somebody listening that.
That's it.
Says,
Absolutely.
there's no place for me to play football, or no place for me to go and, be
Learn
part of a
something
team,
new.
and,
Yeah.
Learn
Part of the
something,
team.
I
learn
mean,
something new.
It's all about being part of something.
Yeah.
You
Push
know,
some
and
limits.
that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
Opportunity.
Cool.
yeah.
Well, awesome. Thank you
Thank
guys
you
so
guys
much.
so
This was
much.
awesome.
Oh,
was
thank
really
you.
good.
This
This
is
is awesome.
this is exactly what we need to be doing. So
Awesome.
I
Perfect.
really appreciate the whole
This was
interview.
great. This was
Yeah.
great. Thank you.